Hello and welcome back to another video. Is it February? Yeah. Am I about to video the 26 books that I want to read in 2026? Yeah. But you know what? It's better late than never. That's what I always say. Better late than never. Alright, so we're going to do this in like 3 different categories. One being the books that I do not own yet. The next being the books that I'm either currently reading or have read in the month of January. And the third being all the rest of them. So first we'll go with all of the books that are releasing this year that I have not bought yet. And there's only one. And that is The King's List by Jade Presley. This is the second book after the Never List. I read it back in November, December. Flew through that thing. It is so good. I'm so excited to see what happens next. Kind of nervous, but kind of excited, Kind of excited. I will be picking it up as soon as it gets dropped off on my doorstep. Next is the books that I am either in the middle of reading or I have already read. So right now I am currently reading Wild Side by Elsie Silver. 54 pages in. I started it yesterday. So that is my current read right now. And then I read The Stars Are Dying. The last one came out in December. I wanted to go ahead and just binge read the whole trilogy. This one has very mixed reviews and I can totally see why. You either love it or you hate it. I was one that I really enjoyed it. It is like star-crossed lovers, fated mates, but they are fated to be enemies. Like, so good. I really enjoyed it. The first 2 books, the first one was a 4, second book I think was a 5, and then the third book was a 4. So I mean, I really enjoyed this one. Really did. Next, I just finished this today, and that is Blood of Hercules. I flew through this. I started this yesterday and I finished it tonight. So good. If you have not heard about it, it's like a Hercules retelling, and it is also a like why choose, but you end up choosing. So there's 2 pairs of like potential, there's 2 sets of potential lovers. You have to pick a set, I think is what happens. So, but I really enjoyed this. I flew through this and I'm actually starting the second one after I finished this. So highly, highly recommend. And then the last book that I read that was on this list was Her Monstrous Beast. This was the first book that I read in 2026. It came out on December 31st. So I had to pick it up. It is the last book in the Her Vicious Beast series, I believe, and I really loved how the series wrapped up. If you haven't heard anything about it, it's Why Choose. They all shift into different animals. In the beginning, she is running from her mates and she does not, and they don't know why. And there's 5 of them, by the way. So I'm trying to put these books away as I finish a stack so that when I get done filming, I can just get my book, go snuggle up in my bed and start reading. So I have cleared off, I don't know if you can see it. I've cleared off this top shelf right here, and that is going to be the shelf that all of my 26 and 2026 will go. So without further ado, let's just get into it. We have, whoa! I guess I can just put my journal away because I've got the book sitting here. It's not like I need the journal anymore. So first of all, we have Enigma. This is a dark romance. I believe it is paranormal. Our main character ends up in this university because she is a legacy and she is obsessed with death, and she goes there to hunt for answers about what happened to her older sister because her sister is missing. And very excited to read this. I read Gothicana and at the time I enjoyed it. If I were to read it now, it would probably be like a 3-star for me, but when I read it, it was a 4-star. So I'm excited to see how I feel about this one. And then we have Voyage of the Damned. This is very pretty. So basically this is like a fantasy mystery. So 12 days at sea, 1 chance to stop a killer. So I'm very interested to see how this will go. This will be my first like fantastical mystery, or however you would call this. This would be my first one. But I've had this on my shelf. Let's see, when did this come out? Because this is a Barnes & Noble exclusive edition. So it has to be, okay, 2024. So at least over a year, probably, at least a year. But it is very pretty. It's very pretty. So I'm excited to see if I like it or not. If you have not noticed, this is the year that we are focusing on my physical TBR because I have too many. Which, look for that video because I am going to be going through my whole physical TBR and posting a video of how many books I actually own but have not read yet. Next we have Summer in the City. I got this, if you watched my video back in August, I got this. I had to go on a work trip, and while I was there I went to the bookstore and they had 50% off on certain hardbacks, so I picked this one up. I don't know nothing about it, just know that it's set in the city and it's a romance. And this is the same author that wrote the Lightlark series, and I really enjoyed the first 2 books in that series, so I'm excited to see if I like some of her other works. Then we have The God of the Woods. I'm really excited to see how I like this one, because this one has kind of mixed reviews too. I know that this is slower. I've heard a lot of great things about it. It follows different timelines, I know that. And I know that there is someone that went missing, and then we're following past and present. That's basically all I know. If you don't know me, I like to jump into stuff pretty much blind. I will go on TikTok and like look up a book and like see like certain quotes and stuff and see what other people are saying about it. But other than that, I like to go in blind. There's a couple books on here that I know absolutely nothing about that I bought because of a quote, or someone said there was a certain trope in it that interested me, and I just all around thought it looked good. So, God of the Woods. All right, so next little stack we have here. I know, don't come for me, I have not read it yet. But Great Big Beautiful Life by Emily Henry. This is the only Emily Henry book that I have not read. It's last year's release. I know, I haven't read it yet, and I've already been looking to see what this year's release is going to be. She's one of my favorite authors. All the stuff she writes is an auto buy for me. I mean, but anyway, I know that a lot of people, there were mixed reviews on this last year because it was marketed as kind of like a romance, but then it's not really a romance, and there's like some suspense in there, and then it's also kind of like literary fiction. So I don't know, we're gonna read it and see. And then this tome of a book, we have The Will of the Many. I know nothing about this. All I know is that it's set in an academy, and that like the power system is set up kind of like an MLM. And I was like, you know what? That is very interesting. Do I own the second one already? Yes. That's just how I roll. But this is gonna get read this year, I hope. And then we have Sword Heart by T. Kingfisher. I'll get it right in a minute. And this one, I know that this author, she writes horror, but also fantasy. And I know that all of the fantasies always have like an edge of romance to them. So this one is between a widowed housekeeper and a sword that comes to life, I believe. That is like something that I've never read before, so I'm really excited to see how that goes. And if you watch my most recent video where I was snowed in, we are still snowed in, we're going on day 7. By the way, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're going on day 7. Love it. I'm ready to get out of this house. But Primal of Blood and Bone, a book that I read in that video, was Soul of Ash and Blood. This is the next one in that series. There is a book that I have to read before this one because characters show up. But I am very much excited to see how the story continues, because I think the next book is going to be the last one. This was supposed to be the last one, but I think she said that she wrote too much to put into one, so she split it into 2. And so that's how that worked out. So, yeah. Let's do some of the paperbacks on this list, because I got plenty. You want thingamabobs? I've got 20, but who cares? No big deal. All right, next up, a book that has been on a monthly TBR last year that I never got to is Rebecca by Daphne du Maurier. I've heard great things about this. I think there's even a movie about this. I'm not sure. But this is just like one of those modern classics. I think this was wrote in the 60s. No, 1907. No, she was born 1907. The novel, Rebecca, I think it was 1969 when this was written, I believe. But she marries someone, and then when she goes there, she realizes that he never let go of his dead wife, I think is the story. Anyway, interesting, a good book for fall. Then we have the next book in the Kings of Sin series, which is King of Envy by Anna Wong. This is the next book in the series I need to read. And so I added it to this list so that I could go ahead and have, you know, some motivation to read it. I really enjoy the series, and so I'm really excited to see how I like this one. And then we have Practice Makes Perfect. I am skipping When in Rome just because I don't know, I want to, but I have the rest of the series, and so I want to read this one because I think this is like Bad Boy. He's a tattooed bodyguard. Yeah. Then we have Releasing 10. I know, I have not read it yet. I was wanting to reread the Boys of Common series before I jumped into this. I am almost halfway through Binding 13. I just pick it up whenever I'm in a slump and just want to read a few chapters of one of my favorite series ever. And so that's what I've been doing. So eventually, I'm hoping this year I will get to this. So that's why this is on this list. And then we have the last book in the Lakefront Billionaires, which is Love Arranged by Lauren Asher. I always immersive read this series because the audiobook is duet narration, so the male narrator does all the male parts, including even if it's the female character's point of view. So this one I believe is A Marriage of Convenience, I believe is what that is. And then we have Five Brothers by Penelope Douglas. This is the Probably Smut edition, and I got like character art stuff. I do not have a subscription to Probably Smut. I have to get, if there is a book that I like that I know that they did an edition of, I get on Pango and see if I can get it at a good price. And so I like Penelope Douglas as an author, so I picked this one up. So I'm really excited to see how this one goes. But yeah, I love the reason I love Probably Smut is because they give you tabs, and then they also give you annotation guides, so there's no thinking. And since I'm one that loves to tab my books up, I love that. We are close to the end, and I can probably guarantee you that I probably forgot a book. And don't come at me if it's like 24 because I forgot 2 of them. It's okay. So I want to read Nothing Like the Movies. This is the sequel to Better Than the Movies by Lynn Painter. I love Lynn Painter's YA books. They are so freaking cute and I love them. And so this one, I don't know if I'm going to have to reread Better Than the Movies to remind myself what happened in that one, because I read Better Than the Movies like almost 3 or 4 years ago, I believe. And so I don't really remember the story that much. So I think I'm going to read Better Than the Movies and then jump into this one. And then we have The Graham Effect. I finally finished the Off-Campus series last year or the year before. And I was going to wait until I read the Briar U series, which I've read the first book in that one. But I really want to jump into this one. I saw a video where Larry reads, where she read it, what was it, a year or 2 ago when it came out. And she said it reminded her a lot of One Tree Hill. And you can see where my sticker was. But One Tree Hill is like my favorite show ever. And so anything One Tree Hill coded, I'm on top of that. Then we have Fairy Tale. And yes, I do really like the traditionally published cover better than the indie published. And so I sold my indie published on Pango and picked this one up. And look how floppy, y'all. But this is a paranormal romance, I believe. And it's set in the 50s. And she's an orphaned English teacher from Boston. She gets a letter from her biological father, finds out that she is included in his will. So I think she travels there, things happen, there's romance. I'm here for it. And set in the 50s, this would be my first, probably, I don't think I've ever read a book set in the 50s. So I'm really excited to see. Then we have Silver Elite. This was all the rage last year. The second one's coming out this year. So I really want to read it and see how I feel about it. I will probably get the second one from Book of the Month if they offer it, just so that I can have, so it can match. It's got to match. I got the really pretty sprayed edge one. But this is a dystopian romance, I believe. And this is right up, like, I love dystopian, Hunger Games, Divergent, all of that. Love it. So we're down to our last 3. I am running out of room. But anyway, last 3. We have Burning Daylight by Emily McIntyre. This is a Romeo and Juliet retelling where they get their happy ending. So I'm really excited to read this and see how much of the original story she's kept, how much she's changed. And so I'm really excited. I got the really pretty sprayed edge version. So yeah. We have All Roads Lead Here. If you know, you know. Mariana Zapata is the queen of slow burn. And this one is a single dad trope, I believe. And she moves in next door. And I think his last name is Road, or his like first name is Road, or something like that. But I plan on immersive reading this because with Mario Zapata's audiobooks, all of her books are set in the female's POV. You do not get multiple POVs. But with the audiobook, when they have a male narrator that reads only the male main character's parts. So if she's talking to somebody else, the female narrator will do all those parts. And then when the male narrator, or when the male character speaks, he does the parts. And then lastly, we have Broken by Daylight. This is the next book in the Beast of the Briar series that I need to read. The next one comes out in April, I believe. And this book has been traditionally published. And I think I broke the spine by accident. I did break the spine by accident, but that's okay. This is the next one I need to read. The first one is a Beauty and the Beast retelling, and then it kind of takes on its own plot from there. Especially the way the last one ended, I'm really excited to see how this one continues on. But yeah, so thank you so much for watching. Hang on, let's do a thumbnail real quick. But anyway, thank you so much for watching. If you have not already, subscribe, join the bookish community. It would make my day. What is a book that you'll be reading this year, or what is on your list to read in 2026? And I will see you in my next one.